Hey, so I know it's been a while since I last recorded one of these episodes. Just kind of been dealing with personal problems. Kind of wanted to talk about that. Kind of, just a little bit. Um, kind of, kind of insight to, um, kind of autism and depression, anxiety, that kind of stuff. Um, if you're wondering about the game that I'm playing, it's called Kingdom Two Crowns, gifted to me by my lovely friend Walden. Thank you very much, Walden, if you ever see this. Um, but just kind of, I don't know, something not a lot of people seem to focus too much on is the impact and effects that autism has when it comes to uh, stuff like depression and anxiety. Because, I mean, it kind of not to like make it out to be like, oh, whoa, me, pity me, but it's worse. It's worse for us than, say, someone not on the spectrum, just because of how our mind kind of, I mean, it's different. It's not exactly easy to go through the same stuff for us. It's a bit tougher, for sure. I mean, I wouldn't say it's horribly unbearable, but I mean, I don't know. It's just, I mean, I've gone through this stuff for close to, God, issues really started almost a decade ago for me, back in junior high. It the depression stuff got noticeable at that point. Um, I mean, not to make you guys feel horrible for what other people have done, but just started at that time. People really started to make me feel bad for being different. And it's when, I mean, I really, really, truly began to notice that almost, like, people would try and hide it, not necessarily from me, of course, but from other people, like adults and people in charge, like, keep it hidden from them so they wouldn't necessarily get in trouble for what they were doing to me. But I noticed, and it kind of sucked because I did almost have to play dumb a lot of the times, because if I were to kind of go like, hey, this stuff is happening, I'd almost be told that I'm overreacting and stuff, and it sucked. It really did hurt to be told by these people that I was told that I need to count on these adults, I mean, even special education teachers would just blow me off and almost dismiss me whenever I had issues, even if it was visible. I mean, they're just like, "Oh, there's nothing we can do for you," and I always thought that was kind of messed up because yes, there is stuff you can do. It's just this mindset. It's a very horrible mindset that I just need to toughen up. And it's like no, I don't need to toughen up. It's there's a problem. It needs to be addressed, and it would hurt. It would. I mean, God, I mean, junior high was extremely tough. I even had some teachers that would intentionally bully me and stuff and hinder me, and it was kind of screwed up. I mean, I had a math teacher. I made honor roll one year in junior high. I think it was my 8th grade year. And he was supposed to read off the list of students that made honor roll so that they could go participate in that activity because we worked hard to make honor roll. And I was on the list, and he didn't read my name off, and I kind of almost dismissed it for a bit, thinking, okay, maybe it's just an accident that my name got overlooked. But just the more and more I thought about it, the more I realized that it was most certainly not an accident. This teacher had always made it obvious that he had a dislike for me, even though I tried my hardest on tests and everything, and I never really understood that, compared to other kids that were lazy and didn't pay attention in class. I mean, I made the effort, I put it forward, obviously, because I was on honor roll, but just, he just decided to have it out for me because, I mean, maybe it was because I'm autistic, maybe some other reason. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna pinpoint to the exact issue because I don't know the exact issue, but I just know he had an issue with me. It's one of those things where it's kind of obvious, and it kind of hurt because that was my 8th grade year, because it was my last year to do something like that, and he took the opportunity away from me, which I mean, I could care less what other students did to me, but when it's teachers that you're taught are like the authority figures, and they decide to do this same stuff, sometimes even worse, to you, it makes you go, what's wrong with the world that something like this is okay to do? I mean, and then I had my history teacher. I absolutely loved history teacher, but this history teacher just made me not like history because I have a very good memory. Not to brag, it just I like memorizing things. I mean, that's what I'm good at. But um, yeah, there was one test where I studied to the point where I could probably recite the book, and I wrote down an answer from the book that she had to study word for word, even though she knew, even though like she'd seen how well I do in class, how much knowledge I had. She still tried to accuse me of cheating, took me out to the hallway, and basically was kind of getting on to me, asking me why I cheated, and I'm like, I didn't cheat. And she refused to believe me, and then here's the thing with quite a quite a few autistic people is we have problems making eye contact and maintaining eye contact. I can't explain it. Don't ask me to explain it because I'm not gonna be able to, honestly. It's just something. And like she actually started yelling at me because I wouldn't maintain eye contact, and she thought that meant I was guilty. I would try saying, I'm not trying to avoid your eyes. I just don't like it. But when you're 12, 13 years old and there's a 40-year-old woman screaming at you, accusing you of cheating on a test that you know you didn't cheat, it it tends to screw your mind up a little bit. Makes you lose faith in people, to be honest. Um, have people ridicule me. I mean that's just. I mean, it was a little bit more excessive than for normal people. Like, I guess you could say, yeah, sure, nerds get bullied, but this was a bit more excessive than that. It wasn't like, I mean, I had a crush on a girl, and a couple people found out, and well, in turn, they decided to make an entire website ridiculing me in regards to that. Ridicule me for liking this girl because, as someone on the spectrum, I was apparently not allowed to like this girl because, I mean, she was semi popular. I mean, she was fairly new whenever I kind of felt the crush, but still, I mean, she was more popular than I was. Um, but yeah, they made an entire website dedicated to just ridiculing my crush of this girl. And that was another thing. I mean, I kind of don't like asking girls out now because of that. Uh, then it came to freshman year. Freshman year was freshman year. I mean, it was kind of a fresh start. I started in JROTC. I enjoyed that. Developed some good relationship with the other cadets and stuff, and I enjoyed that. But then it kind of came to sophomore year, and just things started right back up with the whole whole issue of people ridiculing me for being different. And it got even worse this time around because I had. This was really when the depression began to sit in and begin to influence how I behaved daily at school. I started to gain weight and everything because I lost motivation to commit to activities and everything. And I mean, there'd be times where all I did was sit around at home. I mean, I didn't want to go to outside activities. I mean, the only things I did was J-Rotzy, and even then I fell out of that after a bit. Sort of. Not to blame my first sergeant or my lieutenant commander. It was kind of partly them, but kind of some of the stuff they taught me then has helped me later on in my life. Like, because of my depression and everything, I actually kind of sucked at organizing. I still kind of suck at organizing, but back then it was a bit more of an issue. So I usually have something wrong with my uniform, and I had a bad habit of coming up with excuses for it. And eventually my lieutenant commander and first sergeant would always, whenever they came to me, they'd always have this phrase of no excuses. And it seemed a bit harsh at the time. It really did, but as life went along, I almost took that to heart. I mean, I've kept pushing myself to do things that aren't exactly within my comfort zone, and it's why I'm in college. But, yeah. I had a science teacher who, during one of my tests, I finished, and I was reading my book because I'd finished. And then she decided to I can't remember exactly what happened, but like, she got on to me for reading in class, and I was sent to the back of the classroom to stand up and be forced to listen to people study. And I mean, it was kind of like a review and everything, which I'm sorry, but I don't need a review for tests. I have an ability to retain knowledge. I mean, I still remember tons of lessons that maybe normally people would forget after high school. I mean, but I'm able to retain them, so I read because, I mean, I was confident in my ability, and she had not made it clear that it was mandatory for me to pay attention. I mean, she didn't force the jocks in the class to pay attention during these times, which that was some bullshit favoritism. Pardon my language, but that's exactly what it was to me. And she asked the question, and I mean, sometimes for me, questions don't click like they do for other people. So I kind of was like, huh? And what she ended up doing was bring me up to the front of the class, and then in front of the class said, you see, this is who you don't want to be. And at that point is when I fully gave up. And later into that semester, I started talking to my assistant principal about dropping out, because that is legitimately what I wanted to do, was drop out of that school. Because, I mean, I know some people are probably going to see this that are from that same high school, and I'm sorry, but that school was a hellhole to me. I mean, they caused my older two siblings to drop out as well. It wasn't just me. There was it just was completely against anyone that was on the spectrum. You had no place there. And I kind of figured that out, so I gave up and stuff. Then my family fortunately ended up moving to a different town, well, more of a city this time, and started going to a different school, fortunately. Turned out a heck of a lot better, because they have what's called an international baccalaureate system, which means that there's a lot of students from around the world, so it's odd, like an odd assortment. You don't. I didn't stick out for my oddities. In fact, I almost became kind of popular because I had these weird strengths that no one really thought of until they met me. I mean, there was actually a few popular kids that like almost took me under their arm and shoulder, whatever the term is, and I enjoyed it. I ended up successfully graduating, so that was quite nice, and I really appreciate that school. I mean, I don't want to state it because it's, I mean, then you'll know what city I live in, and some of you I'd rather not have that kind of knowledge, possibly. But that school saved me, especially the counselor that I had. They start observing my what's called an IEP. It's basically a learning plan that is set up with certain trying to think of how to word this. There's certain things that are abilities that are given to you that normally aren't given to other students, but they're to aid in your education. Um, I didn't use any of them. It was, I mean, I kind of put my mind to it that I wasn't going to use them. But they were there for me if I needed them, which was nice to have that option of, okay, if you're struggling, you're not going to fail. Which was just having that weight off your shoulder of having to worry about, okay, I'm not doing great, I'm going to flunk and fail high school and stuff. You had that backup plan. And that was the one thing also about my previous high school was they actually refused to observe that IEP. And I'm pretty sure that's illegal. I didn't know at the time. I mean, I was 16. I didn't know better. Otherwise, I probably would have tried having my parents help me file a lawsuit. But, well, lessons learned. So I ended up graduating and stuff, and well, my senior year I was invited to be part of the CNA program. It's for any of you that aren't medical people. That's a certified nursing assistant. Not the most glorious job. I applaud those who can't do it. I decided not to do it. I mean, just not. I mean, I like helping people, but that's not the way for me. I applaud those who it is for, because good for you. I mean, you've got this set of skills, but I wanted to help people with disabilities like mine. That's always been my goal, is to help people realize the potential like I fortunately realized myself. Because, I mean, just society nowadays, it's kind of against people with autism and other disabilities. You're almost supposed to take a disability check and live in government housing. And I'm sorry, but I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. Sorry, but fuck that. That is not who I am, and that's not who I'm ever going to be. Like, I will fight till the better end to be who I know I'm meant to be. But then, unfortunately, that program, uh, not only did, I mean, again, not only did students bully me, but teachers. And I was having other issues at the time, and again, they just made issues much worse for me. This was when it started to really get worse. I actually became suicidal around this time. Like, and I ended up having to go to psych units multiple times during my first semester of my senior year when I was in this program. And it ended up derailing me for about 3/4 of my senior year. Um, and I ended up just going back to regular classes because I had already built up enough credits at that point where all I had to do was one class a day. That was it. So I kind of just went back, took that one class a day, and finished my senior year. Ended up graduating. Same people are still trying to get me to go to a reunion, which I'm never going to be going to because there's going to be the teachers there that horribly lied to my parents and told them all sorts of stuff that was really untrue, and they knew it, and unfortunately it kind of made my parents think badly of me. And that was kind of that kind of also screwed me up for a while. That probably pushed me even further into depression. But I got out, finished high school, wasn't quite ready for college, and I'm glad I didn't let people push me into college, because I probably would have flunked out because I was so badly depressed and everything at that point that there's no way I could have gone to classes and everything and maintained my sanity. But kind of spent a year kind of figuring myself out. Then started working a job and started working at McDonald's, which, I mean, that's just a shitty job. Everyone knows that. But spent a month doing maintenance at one location, and I actually kind of liked it there. They were pretty decent with me. I mean, it was a job at McDonald's. It wasn't a good paycheck. I mean, it's not something you expect when you go to work for McDonald's. But then they transferred me over to another location, and they found out that I have ADHD and autism, and instantly the ridicule began. And I tried lasting there, tried making it work. Worked there about 3 more months, and ended up waiting till a day when the one manager I actually enjoyed working alongside came in, and I went in for what was supposed to be my shift, and I just kind of gave her my shirt. I'm like, I can't do it, because they would literally call me names. Um, they would get on to me about all sorts of stupid stuff that was just complete and utter BS. I mean, I will work my butt off. I mean, sometimes to the point where I finish before other people. I mean, then I'm kind of staying around and kind of going like, oh, well, what am I supposed to do? But yeah, I was kind of. But yeah, that kind of. That was. That pushed me further down the hole, and I didn't know. I couldn't talk to my parents about that. I don't know. I just, at the time, I couldn't figure out how to, and they ended up kicking me out, and I ended up being homeless. Because I don't know, I kind of lost. God, it got bad at that point. But I don't blame them. They didn't know what all went on at McDonald's because I didn't really tell them. I mean, but yeah, just kind of spent my life homeless for 2 to 3 years at that point. Um, then I kind of moved back in with my parents and started. Got a good job at another place. This one was much better for me. Probably my first real job that I wasn't just completely utterly miserable at, and worked there for a year and a half. Moved on to a second job that was just giving me steadier and more hours. Um, so yeah, that was nice. Worked another year and a half there. Started at the second job, which was Subway, which they had me as a closer, so I was doing full time college at that point, and I can't exactly do almost a full time job and college at the same time. They wanted me to become an assistant manager. No, I could not do assistant manager and college at the same time. That is too much for me. I can work a full time job, but that's like 2 full-time jobs at the same time, and I mean, if any of you can do that, I freaking applaud you. Cause I can't do it. I cannot even fathom the thought of doing that myself. But yeah, so I've been in college since that point. So that's kind of been my life up to this point. Kind of my struggles with stuff like bullying, depression, and suicidal thoughts, because that is definitely a big one. I've always struggled with that, and it's been almost a decade of struggling with those kinds of thoughts and stuff. I mean, it doesn't help that I've lost several people that, I mean, towards the end I may have not been the closest to them, but still absolutely suck to lose. And I don't know, I've had problems opening up about that stuff. Kind of kept myself in it. It wasn't a good idea to do that. And that's kind of why I'm making this video today. Tonight. Because I need to talk about this stuff. I need to get it out of my head. Because keeping it all down inside is killing me, slowly but surely. And just kind of want to stop this downhill slide before I just slam into the bottom and it's all gone. Because I know I've got potential, even though there's been a lot of people throughout my life who've tried to tell me otherwise and have almost succeeded in persuading me otherwise. But yeah, that's just, I mean, to a lot of people, I occasionally am sad, but a lot of times I'm happy and stuff, and people don't realize that a lot of times that takes so much energy and effort from me to put that smile on my face, that there's just days where I don't even, I know this is gonna be gross to some people, but I don't shower because I have no motivation to do so. It just, my brain feels absolutely, completely fried. I barely survived this previous semester of college. I'm in no way straight A student, but definitely did worse than I could have. I could have done so much better, but I ended up losing my grandma about halfway through, and that just sent me into this downward spiral. And when you experience something like that, it just makes you think, Now I'm gonna be honest. There was a day about a few weeks ago where I just kind of sat here at my desk and stuff, just kind of looked over at my bottle of antidepressants and just kind of thought to myself, I wonder how easy it would be, and it in just me realizing just how far I slid at that point with that singular thought. It it freaked me out and scared me because I've thought about suicide before that point, but never like that. And it's why I know I just started this channel, but I'm probably taking a break already because I desperately need to get my head on track. Need to find that motivation because I desperately want to do this channel. I desperately want to make it succeed for the things I wanted to succeed for. There's a bunch of ideas I have for this channel. It's just, for me right now, it's a rather dark time. And I mean, I hope y'all can understand why I'm taking this break. I mean, I hope you say subscribe and maybe, I know probably not, most of you are connected with me in some way. Just kind of shoot me a message if you feel like it. I'm not asking for pity. I just kind of just need some words right now because it's a real dark time for me. Now I'm trying to push through it, but to be honest, I'm not actually sure I'll make it out this time. So yeah, probably taking a break from making videos for a month, maybe two. Try and enjoy my summer before I start back again this fall for classes, because that'll take my attention. And I mean, I'll make squad videos every once in a while. Maybe kind of, I'm trying to get a camera so I can do some more vlogging stuff. Maybe I know there's probably better cooking channels out there, but just kind of, I mean, I just want to share my hobbies, my interests, kind of my coping skills. I mean, cooking is one of my coping skills. To a lot of people, God, how long is this ship gonna take? It's like this game playing for me to be talking and rambling like this. But yeah, I find it relaxing, and it's always nice to also maybe cook for like not. God, I never want to cook in a restaurant, but I definitely like cooking for friends and family because it's nice to see them eat the food and enjoy it, and it gives you the satisfaction. It's a hard thing to explain, but it's also why I want to go into a career that I want. because sometimes I focus too much on making others happy rather than myself. But that's what I enjoy doing, making other people happy. But yeah, I hope you guys watched till the end. Didn't mind my ramblingness and all my fillers and stuff because oh, that's what I do a lot of times whenever I think it's just I just hop from one thing to another because of my ADHD. Yeah, but hope y'all enjoy. Hope you guys are having a much better week than I am. But until then, until I see you again or make another video, I hope you all have a wonderful May.